Hi there, I'm Hannah, your Gemini friend. Thanks for stopping by. I'm actually debuting this episode on my birthday, which is today, May 21st. And if you know nothing about the zodiac, I am a Gemini Taurus cusper, and I'll probably explain that as we get to know each other throughout the life of this channel. But I'm turning 44 today, and as I'm reflecting about I don't know, my past year or two, and definitely since 4 years ago, when I went through thyroid cancer that metastasized to the lymph nodes on the right side of my neck, a spot on my lung, a spot on my left femur bone. Then I went through a divorce, which happened right before even COVID was a thing, and how that was it was an extremely lonely time. I mean, we couldn't even visit other people, couldn't even visit friends other than on the phone or FaceTime. And so during that period, YouTube, God was my best friend, and especially tarot. I remember working with a colleague because I'm a physical therapist, and I was working at a geriatric psychiatric nursing home at the time, and I had a friend that always read her horoscope, whether it was in a newspaper, old school style, or a little app thing on her phone. And I was like, secretly like, kind of like, well, what did it say? And she was an Aries, and I'd always be like, well, what's the Gemini one say? And I kind of got into it, and that was kind of like our thing. Like, okay, what does it say today? And then just on my own, then at home after coming back from work, and it was really tough working at a nursing home during that time during COVID, especially because nursing home residents were the most vulnerable at the time, and trying not to let it get through there. And we did pretty good until like a year later, and then it was a red building and everyone had it, and almost 50% of the residents died. And that was a really tough time too. And how do I process that? How do I process death that's literally in my face? And and it makes you think about serious things like your own mortality and your purpose and things like that. Now, this channel is for people that are ready to deep dive, that for people that have like some kind of deep gnawing feeling that won't leave you alone, that there's something more, that there's, you're not complacent, you're unsettled, then this is the right place for you, because that's exactly how I felt. And if there's any practical tips that I could give you, and that's the Taurus side of me. Remember, I'm a Gemini Taurus cusper. I'm right at the cusp. I mean, today, my birthday is the start of Gemini season. So what up, Geminis? Happy birthday to you. And but contemplating like the practical things, that's again my Taurus side. I needed that. But then I needed something that was fresh and free, and I didn't like feeling stagnant either. So I think a lot of learning how to balance the two. I think the Geminis is also symbolized with twins. And yes, I know that, most people think of the negative, like the good and the bad sides. But as we deep dive, I think there's other things that are more deeper than that. Like, how do you turn on when to be, I don't know, outgoing maybe, and then introverted, or really being, I don't know, laser focused, and then learning to be more laid back, right? I don't know. I'll go more deeper into that. But I think there's two main things. Sorry, I lifted up like 10, 9, 8, 9, 10 fingers. Okay. There's two main things, I think, where you will start seeing progress and then I think that you will find the peace that you're looking for, because only now am I able to do that, and gosh, I've been thinking about doing a YouTube channel for over a year, and just overthinking, and I can't do that, and no, that's too scary, and even right before I made this video, I must have like played and recorded and trashed the video like more than 10 times. And so how do you get over those hurdles? And definitely fear. Everybody is held back by some sort of fear. And to have the courage to to do the hard work. I mean, you have to. You have to look straight into it. And what is courage? Courage is going right into it. The fear doesn't go away. You're just going to do it with the fear. And so there's two practical things, and I'll talk about exactly what I did and what I decided to do about those things. The two things are intuition. You've got to improve your intuition. And then how? How do we get more courageous and become fearless? Okay, about intuition. You have to, it's more than trusting your gut. I mean, there is that. The voice in your head, whatever it is. And I feel like for me, even when I was with friends, good people, definitely post-COVID when we were able to hang out with other people again, but there was still that gnawing feeling. Like after my divorce, I was a recovering people pleaser. Like, I went with the flow. I did what other people wanted. Hey, yeah, that's great. What do you want to do? I never suggested anything or did what I wanted to do because I thought, well, what if they don't want to do it? Or what if that was a stupid idea? Or I don't know. What if people think I'm weird? And I was so, I don't know. I felt like it was more lovable. I would be more lovable if I was more likable. I know it's crazy. But, and we'll get deeper into it, like the inner child healing, things like that. Why did I need to feel loved? It's because I grew up learning that that love was conditional. It was based on your grades. It was based on how good you are. It was based on, I don't know, how often you went to church or all these other things that you can check. And so even deep diving into that. But anyway, I know this is probably getting long, but so definitely my follow-up episodes, we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. And gosh, I was embarrassed to even say I didn't really know myself. I didn't know what I liked. It was embarrassing. Like, what music do I like? I don't know. I grew up very sheltered. I listened to Neil Diamond and Swan Lake Tchaikovsky because that was the only two cassette tapes my dad would play growing up. And growing up in a very strict, sheltered Presbyterian church, where like rock music was like, I don't know. I mean, we had a guy that came in and played records backwards. And of course it's going to sound demonic, right? Because it wasn't supposed to be played that way. But I mean, and even tarot, like, I don't know, maybe that's in the realm of witchcraft or gambling. And I don't want to think about it that way. I want to not just lean into, but just kind of dive into anything that's positive, anything that's going to help enlighten the way that I think. And if you don't change the way you think, you won't change the way that you move, you behave. And I just feel like all these areas of my life, whether it was church, I mean, my faith is a very important part of my life, but it's not solely. It's not just the number one thing. So that's important. I mean, gosh, what are the other things that I love? I love karaoke. And I know most people don't like it. And so, but I deep dive into that. And I think there'll be an episode where I do that. And I will show you in later episodes my karaoke skills. Just side note, I entered into a cash prize karaoke competition. And I won fifth. $500. Not bad for my first try. And I mean, things like that. I deep dive and we're going to talk about, you need to find your passions. What is it? And I can definitely say karaoke and the tarot for me, because it's so positive and it was so helpful, especially during that time, during COVID, post-divorce, where I needed positivity continuously. And thankful for YouTube and thankful for all tarot readers and all people light workers putting positive messages out there, because it definitely helped me. And if I can give back in any way, for anybody that's kind of like, what's going on? We're a fork in the road and you need something else. My one thing I will say to you is, I know it's scary. but you got to work on your intuition first. And how? The best way that I was able to do that was spending time by myself. I mean, I knew like you're gonna feel it, and you have to start trusting it. Like, man, dating apps aren't working right now. I'm not resonating. I'm not connecting with anybody right now. Then take a break. Take a break and spend time on your own and do things like, you're not going to say no to yourself. Hey, I want to go sing karaoke tonight. Yeah. You follow yourself around. So, things like that. Or, hey, I want to try that, I don't know, that new like smoke barbecue place down the street, right? And I know that that is terrifying. So I think intuition plus fearlessness, it will eventually come. And what's more terrifying than going to eat by yourself? I know. Maybe start with breakfast. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I love. I love going out to breakfast. My ex and I, we co-parent very well, and I'm extremely thankful for that. And so on the weekends I didn't have my kids, I took myself out to breakfast, and Ruth's Cafe is my favorite place, and I went as often as I could, and I sat there and I enjoyed my diner coffee. I don't know what it is, they make it good every single time. Isn't my cup cute? Be brave, fearless, and bold. And then the inside of it says, you got this. I mean, I was like, I have to have that cup. Like, that's what I'm saying. When you trust your intuition, Marie Kondo, she's onto something. Yeah. If it brings you joy, then it's worth it, right? Don't get things because it's the latest, the latest fad, unless you like it, right? So that I would, even the way that I shop, even the way that I buy is completely different. Unless I am in love with it. I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm just like a magnet, a moth to a flame. I love that thing. I mean, even when I bought this mug at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, I can't remember which one, but I was like, I have to have it. And I love looking at it. I love the colors, and it gives me joy. And anyways, so that is my encouragement to you, is to try something that scares you a little bit. And I would start in small increments, right? And so can you try going to breakfast on your own, right? Try it. And at least with breakfast, there's not as many people, right? It's not as intimidating. And now I love it. I do it like, I don't know, any chance I get. I mean, I've even ventured to, definitely lunch. And then dinner, for sure. I mean, I'll admit that's a little harder. But I mean, maybe even like doing a movie by yourself. And the more that you start doing things by yourself and you really enjoy it, you almost geek out on it, right? It like compounds. That joy compounds until you do something again. And so I feel like that plus confidence and fearlessness will start to build, right? I want to pull an oracle card. These are so pretty. This is the Brittany Carmichael oracle deck from the inside. I was so drawn to it because the colors are so pretty, first of all, and then the artwork by Jenna Kane. I mean, some people are so freaking talented. Gosh, it's not fair. But that's awesome. Ooh, another side note. Oh, you're going to have to get used to this because this is how my Gemini brain works. Like, once a thought comes into my brain. Oh, and that's another thing, too. I process out loud. That's just me. A thought comes into my brain, and I literally am talking to myself. And I literally found a YouTube video that was like, is talking to yourself normal? And guess what? It is. I mean, and the video was saying, like, even as kids, like, even when we were kids and our parents were teaching us, like, okay, Hannah, this is how you share. Okay, this is how, you got to treat your little sister nice, And then you're talking to yourself with your little dolls and playing, okay, and kind of reiterating what your parents just taught you, and the verbal part of it plus action, I think, helps cultivate that behavior. So anyway, okay, I think I like this one. Gratitude rampage. List 10 things you're thankful for. I think that's good. Kind of like what I was just talking about with, talking out loud. I think whether you're talking out loud or writing it down, I think that the dual thinking about it with action, I think creates that like pathway, that neural pathway. For it to stay, I don't know, to stay in the front of your brain longer, and changes your mood too, right? When you really think about it, and I think we're so busy with things we don't really realize. I think you get more of what you focus on. So if we're just focused on the things that we're not getting done, then of course you're going to get increased stress. And then the intuitive part, when you start to feel that your body's getting a little too overwhelmed and stressed, then try that. Maybe not write all 10 at one time. Maybe just one or two, whatever come to your mind. And maybe by the end of the day, see if you had 10, right? I think that's easy. These are new. I remember another tarot reader had it, and I like it. The Doreen Virtue Angel Therapy Oracle cards. And I look at that. Look how powerful that is. Man, I believe it. So there's power in healing hands. And I know most people that probably landed on my channel here are empaths and very nurturing, compassionate people. And you probably have this kind of power. Literal healing hands. Because it's hard. It's hard to help people that are in pain, right? Because I think we absorb that energy too. And it's hard to not take that with us. All right. Okay, I'm drawn to this one. Base chakra. Choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, and finances, as your words determine your outcome. I think this correlates so much with that listing 10 things that you're grateful for, right? Again, the common denominator here is words. And if we change our mindset, that changes the behavior, right? So, I like this one too. My daughter got me these, the Soul Journey. Oh, she also got me this. I thought for my first episode, I was just gonna surround myself with love. And my daughter got me these for Mother's Day. She got me this Gemini necklace for my birthday last year. And I think she got me this. So cute. Gemini with her little, she's 11, with her little allowance money. So thoughtful. For my birthday. Last year? Okay, this one. Upside down though. Patience. Man. This is aligning very well. Because I will say, remember, I got divorced officially in 2020. And it's 2023. So it's been 3 years. I would say the journey of 2020 was a bad year. That's when I was figuring things out, trying to, correct the bad habits, made some bad choices. And I think you have to go through that so that you learn to have compassion for yourself. And instead of, gosh, why did I date that guy? And instead of, wow, you really were in a low period, and your choices reflect kind of where you're at, I think, emotionally. And yeah, I was not making good decisions then, whether it was financially or, whether it was dating. And I look back on that and I was like, oh gosh, I am like so thankful 3 years later. And I know that sounds scary. I know. If I watched this video, something like this 3 years ago and been like, 3 years, oh my God, I'm not going to make it. Ooh, I don't run, but what I hear people who run is it's a mind game and you got to look just down at your feet. Don't look like, ooh, I got 26 more miles to go. You just one step at a time. And I think then when you look up, you're like, oh, wow. Oh, I covered a lot more ground than I thought. I think same thing. So again, back to the intuition, things to improve your intuition. Spend more time doing the things that you really enjoy, right? So for me, again, number one classic example is karaoke. I did a lot of karaokeing, and at that time before COVID hit, there was a karaoke bar here in Indy called the Monkey's Tail, and I went it was 7 days a week karaoke bar. I loved it. I mean, I did go every Monday for sure because that's when I didn't have my kids, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the heck out of it. And when you again, don't lean in, I say deep dive, but into something that you really enjoy, gosh, the pure energy that exudes from you, you're like a magnet. I met a lot of people, like friends who other people there, and we just had a great time. We just enjoyed what song are you singing? And, oh, that was a great job. And, oh, a little side note too, about me is I really wanted to be a cheerleader when I was in 7th grade. And my dad wouldn't let me be a cheerleader because he said the skirts were too short. And so I think, but that desire to like cheer other people on, like other people doing something that they enjoy or that they're really good at, or I don't know. I love infusing and adding energy to that and making it compound and make it bigger. And so I just feel like that's my goal here too, is to, in any way possible, if I can cheer you on with my own life stories or, I don't know, my own life, I don't know, recommendations or something like that, whatever comes to my brain and out the mouth. But I just feel like be patient, okay? And we'll get through this together. But for sure, trust your intuition, because your intuition, that's going to be the base for every decision that you make, right? And then the intuition, once your intuition is on point and you trust yourself, right? That is the basis for, I feel like, self-love, right? And I finally have gotten to a point where I genuinely love myself. I know that sounds so cheesy. It's so cheesy. Like I loved everyone else and I killed myself for other people, my family members, my kids, work. And I think I just wore my poor body out so badly that the stress hormones and things like that just stressed my body out, that, I don't know, encouraged me to eat bad things, probably like a lot of carbs and sugar, and plus a stressful environment, and then genetics on top of that. There is some cancer on my dad's side of the family that made the perfect storm for cancer. And I just feel like now, being cancer free, I just get 6-month checkups with my blood work, which reminds me I need to do that. I just really, when you're in a chaotic phase in your life and you finally get to a point where you get peace, I'm going to protect it in any way possible. That is my number one priority. And that's why I have to trust my intuition, whether, hey, is this environment, is this opportunity, is this workplace, is this relationship, is this disturbing my peace, adding to my peace? And then I've learned to walk away or deep dive. And I don't know, it's definitely been a learning curve, definitely in the beginning stages when I was figuring it out and very confused. I don't know. How do you say things like, I'm doing me right now. That sounds so cheesy too, but that truly was genuinely what I was doing. But anyways, this is my favorite tarot deck. This is like, I have two. Another one I'm getting used to, but the light seers, again, I remember seeing a YouTube, lots of YouTube people using it, and it's the imagery is so pretty, and I just felt like, I don't know, again, I was so drawn to it, just like my mug, and then the tactile feeling of it. Oh, there's something so relaxing. Some people do the color by numbers coloring book, which is relaxing. You know, other people paint, knit. I don't know. There's something about like this, the talking part, and okay. And I know I have spirit guides. I know that, whatever you're going to call it, God, source. You're watching over me. So, can I have something for the people that are watching? And for me? For all of us? Okay. So, Seven of Cups. How I see that is, see how that he's like very pensive and thinking, and maybe a lot of you are, I don't know, almost like crossroads. I see this as decisions, right? There's a lot of options, and which one do I choose? So you might be at that phase, and again, that's where the intuition part, like I talked about, I'm gonna stress intuition like crazy, because you have to trust your intuition in order to, if you have all these options, how do you know which one's the best one for you? And then you're going to stress out and overthink, oh my God, what if I make the wrong decision? And then you're not going to make any decision at all. Then you're going to feel stuck. So that's probably what I'm going to title this this episode is not feeling, for those of you that are feeling stuck, like, let's get you the kitty litter to absorb some of that moisture to help you get out of that mud pit, sand pit. Okay. And then Six of Cups. Look at that. I love the imagery here. This is this older guy with his dog, and when they were younger, right? So lots of times, and cups represent emotions, right? So how I think of that with the collective, with your Seven of Cups and Six of Cups. Okay, you got a lot of decisions. And when I think of the Six of Cups too, especially with that imagery there, it makes me really think about like really reflecting. And I know that the words like inner child has been like, I don't know, buzzwords here and there, but I think it's true. Like, but I think there's some truth to it. Like really sitting down, again, spending that time alone to kind of reflect. And I know spending time alone sometimes for some people is very scary, right? You get distracted. I know it's boring, but even if it's, I don't know, maybe if it's in a crowded place, but you put headphones in or something, but it's just you and your thoughts, right? And I don't know, reflecting on things that are bothering you, right? Because I feel like when you're, at least for myself, when I was a people pleaser, I suppressed a lot of things that bothered me. I'm just, that happened years ago. I'm just going to push it down. Or that's not important right now. I have other things. And you keep pushing it down. But I feel like the body is the one thing that is not like Jesus. And it does keep a record of wrongs. Even in the subconscious. That's what I believe. And it will keep rising to the surface until you deal with it. And whether you want to believe it or not, it will keep coming out until you deal with it. And I, even with trauma and wounds and things like that, emotionally, I mean, even with a wound, like even if you get a paper cut, I mean, yeah, if it's small enough and your, platelets are really hard and working well, and, can talk to those skin stem cells and heal really quickly without Neosporin, but sometimes you put that Neosporin on and a Band-Aid and let it do its thing and protect it and give it time to heal. It will heal, right? And I just feel like people want to avoid that because it's very uncomfortable. And I just feel like that's another thing too. And I know I'm talking out of my mouth, but even with healing, you got to be courageous with that too. Because if you keep suppressing it, then you'll keep being stuck, right? If you just keep doing things the same way, same mindset, then you can't expect things to just to get a different outcome. But, you're in one way unhappy with how stuck you are, but then you're fearful and, of not wanting to look at the painful things from your past or even from when you were a kid, right? I feel like, any areas that really come to mind, and those, and in your own time, giving yourself compassion. And I think a lot of things too I've learned is that you need to now give what you did not get then, right? So, I mentioned conditional love as a child. I know my parents loved me in the sense that they provided. We lived though we didn't live in big houses or anywhere fancy, but we lived in good school districts, right? To go to a good school. And I know for my basic needs, like, food and shelter and water and good ethics and moral principles and things like that, going to church and things like that. But without the emotional side too, like the hugs and the I'm proud of you and I love you. And again, hearing that plus the emotional plus the practical, right? The Gemini plus the Taurus side. They got to balance each other out. And sometimes when it's imbalanced, right, there's a pain, there's a hurt. And over time, sure, it's going to scar. But maybe as you get older or certain things trigger it, it'll become more prominent. And I guess my challenge to you here, because I think this is getting long, is to one time this week, try to carve out some time. And I know it will be scary initially. Even if you got to talk it out, I encourage it. And give yourself that love and whatever it was. For myself, it was unconditional love. Like learning to love the fun parts of me, the Gemini parts. I mean, we're fun, right? We're life of the party. But also the not fun parts, right? Like sometimes the scatterbrainness, right? The flightiness, squirrel. I mean, that stuff's real. It's true. I'm not gonna deny it. And I am more aware of it. Oh, and that's something that we'll talk about later too, because this is getting long. How you improve internal awareness and external awareness, and I'll talk about that later too. But all of these things are fun. And anyways, stay tuned. I will sprinkle in some karaoke songs. And I don't know. I know it's so cheesy, but and you got to look back once in a while and like look at your progress of how far you've come. And even me making this video today, it's not fancy. I'm going to learn how to do the intros and things like that. And it's a skill, and I mean, I'm scared. It's a new skill. And anytime you try a new skill, it's going to be scary, but there's also a level of excitement too. And I don't know, just try it. I mean, when you're like, I'm too old for that. I'm 44 and I started this YouTube channel. Oh yeah. Oh, if you are feeling stuck in any way, okay, there's got to be an energy shift. Do something. So lots of times, either it's got to be physical, you'll feel a quick emotional change. You got to change the energy up if you're feeling stale, stagnant. So I don't know, a walk, doing a short like weightlifting. There's so much out there now. 5 minutes, with your little dumbbells or whatever you got. I mean, water bottles. I mean, I was using water bottles and laundry detergent bottles during COVID. But anyway, so if you have short-term little goals for yourself, and I know goals, you're like, oh, but that's why you got to make like easy ones you can hit, right? Because again, you want to compound the successes. That's how we're going to build confidence and towards fearlessness. So quick story for me. One day I woke up recently, and I was like, that's it. I need to change something with my hair because my hair was this color all the way through. And that's it. Today is the day. I had balayage before, I would say probably back in 2020. And oh gosh, long story short, but then I went through like a very intense like budget phase, and I was like, all right, I got to cut that and I don't know, revamp my finances. And so gosh, it's been almost 3 years, and I was like, you know what? I think it's ready for me. I think I can afford splurging a little bit on my hair again. And so I was like, I want to do balayage, but maybe go a little more drastic. So I just went on Instagram and I, typed in balayage Asian hair. And in Indianapolis, I found Jessica Shippey. Hi, Jessica. Shout out to Jessica at MDG Salons. And I loved her pictures. Great pictures. She had before and after. And girls with all different color hair, different types of hair on, different ethnicities. And she had a few on there with Asian girl balayage type pictures. And I was like, all right. So I just called and I made an appointment. And this was even drastic for me. I had this color hair everywhere. And I think people from my past who I haven't seen in a while, they would probably be shocked by how light it is. But I don't know. I just feel like it's true. It's true. Like once we start doing the inner work, the outside reflects your inner what it looks like on the inside. I know it's so cheesy, but there's a lot of truth to the cheese. So that was like my small goal thing, to just change the energy up and get the momentum flowing again. And then I'll share with you one of my long-term goals is this. My boyfriend got me a beginner electric guitar. Because we've always talked about starting a band, and I that the karaoke side of me and the singing and the performing, and I just love it. And I was like, oh my gosh, if we start a band, he's plays way better than I do, and he's got 2 guitars, and we're always like, oh, we're gonna practice. And he got me this starter set, which is so cute. And if you are, I'm not sponsored by this at all, but look, it comes with its own amp. Is that cute? And it comes with 3 months of free online lessons. And I just feel like if you venture into something and look for something to start, like to learn a new skill, and that's good for your brain too, right? It's called neuroplasticity. It's making like literal new neurons, right? So you can teach yourself new things, keep your brain healthy. And that's more of like a long-term thing for me. So having like short-term ones and to build, to give you more confidence and maybe bigger stepping stones to like a bigger one, like teaching yourself electric guitar. And because if it's something that's motivated by something that you're interested in and you enjoy, then that's dopamine. Ooh, I was listening to an Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's a neuroscientist out of Stanford University, and I was listening to some of his YouTube videos regarding like dopamine mindset. I think it's fascinating that it's not just, you eat a piece of chocolate and then like a bunch of dopamine releases, but dopamine also, it helps you in the motivation part, in the craving part. And I just feel like there's so much dopamine that's released even in me wanting to, tackle trying to play like electric guitar. Yeah. That I'm excited to like practice, right? And I remember I was not excited to practice piano when I was 10 because it was forced on me, right? because all the other Asian kids are doing it, you're doing it too. Hated it, right? Versus if my parents were like, hey, what is an instrument you'd like to play? And I'm like, electric guitar. They'd be like, no. So guess what? I'm doing it now, Mom and Dad. And so I will definitely like here and there check in with you with my progress. And this is good accountability for me too, to keep up on my free online. I only have 3 months of it, and then we'll see where I'm at there. And my end goal with that is that my boyfriend and we write our first song, right? And then I'll even play it for you. But anyways, I know this was long, and thanks for spending this time with me. And I don't know, I think we're going to grow a lot together. And I hope to, I don't know, that this is like a, reciprocal. That's another word I like, we're going to talk about. But I want that, a reciprocal exchange of energy, of excitement, especially when, 3 years ago, I know patience, my friend, okay? When you're in that period, when I think about it, then I have compassion on myself because it was rough. But that work you do versus like getting it all at once, you could lose it quickly, right? If you slowly build it, then it's there to stay. And so I just feel like who I am today is who I've built, and I'm proud of it. So anyways, I wish you so much joy, and go find something. Go do something on your own that you enjoy. And I don't know, let's share that energy and keep this rolling. All right, have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye.